Cuba's decision to join the BRICS alliance marks a monumental shift in the global economic landscape, potentially turning the island nation from decades of political isolation and economic hardship into a key player in an ever-evolving world order. To understand the full significance of this move, it's essential to examine how Cuba's inclusion in BRICS could reshape its economic future, influence global trade, and challenge established geopolitical norms. For over 60 years, the United States has enforced an embargo on Cuba, prohibiting American businesses from engaging with the island and restricting its access to global financial markets. This embargo was implemented in the 1960s, shortly after the Cuban Revolution, as a response to Cuba's shift toward communism and fears of socialist ideologies spreading across the region. The embargo aimed to isolate Cuba both economically and politically, pressuring the government to adopt capitalist reforms. Over the years, these sanctions have inflicted significant economic hardship on Cuba. Access to global markets was severely restricted, and Cuba struggled to obtain advanced technology, medical supplies, food, and fuel. As a result, the country faced persistent shortages, stagnating infrastructure, and limited foreign investment. With a constrained economic capacity, Cuba relied heavily on its resourceful people and alliances with other socialist and non-aligned nations for survival. The embargo also excluded Cuba from key international financial institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, making it difficult for the country to secure loans for infrastructure, industrial development, or public services. The sanctions directly impacted daily life, leading to food shortages, limited access to essential medicines and household goods, and a strained healthcare system. Cuba's healthcare system, once considered among the best in the region, began to suffer as its access to medical technologies and research materials was restricted. Despite becoming a leader in medical innovation, the embargo hampered the country's ability to expand its medical research or develop new treatments. Agriculture, too, was affected. Once thriving, Cuba's agricultural sector began to struggle as the nation faced challenges importing necessary seeds, tools, and machines. However, through urban farming and sustainable practices, Cuba managed to keep the industry afloat, and these innovations are now set to gain more recognition as the country opens up to the global economy. In addition to restricting trade and access to resources, the embargo made it difficult for Cubans to travel, obtain information, or establish international business ventures. The flow of ideas and innovations into Cuba was stifled, and isolation became a defining feature of Cuban life and culture. Despite these challenges, Cuba's resilience shone through. The country became renowned for its educational achievements, particularly in medical research, and its emphasis on healthcare and biotechnology. Even under the most difficult conditions, Cuba developed one of the world's most efficient and affordable healthcare systems, producing its own vaccines and medicines to address various diseases. Cuba also invested in alternative energy sources like solar and wind power, while fostering scientific research in several other sectors. Still, the ongoing embargo remained a significant obstacle, and Cuba's full economic potential was constrained by the lack of international support and the inability to freely engage in global trade. However, Cuba's strategic shift toward new partnerships, especially with nations like Venezuela, Russia, and China, allowed the island to diversify its trade relationships and develop alternative financial networks. Yet it wasn't until Cuba's membership in BRICS that the country began to witness truly transformative opportunities for integration on the global stage. BRICS, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has emerged as a powerful coalition of growing economies, collectively representing over 45% of global GDP. The alliance's increasing influence is reshaping the global economic order, and Cuba's entry as an associate member marks the start of a new chapter in the country's history. By joining BRICS, Cuba gains access to a vast array of economic, trade, and financial resources that were once out of reach. One of the most significant advantages is the ability to bypass the US dollar, a crucial element in the enforcement of the embargo. BRICS countries have developed alternatives to the dollar-dominated financial system, allowing Cuba to trade directly with these nations using alternative currencies, thus breaking free from the restrictions imposed by the US financial system. This new partnership with BRICS could open doors for Cuba to participate more actively in global trade, strengthen its economy, and establish itself as an influential player in the international arena. The potential for Cuba to break free from decades of isolation and hardship and move toward a more integrated, diversified economy is finally within reach, thanks to its strategic move into the BRICS alliance. Even barter systems offer flexibility, opening up new trade opportunities and economic channels that bypass the restrictions imposed by U.S. sanctions. Through this, Cuba gains access to crucial development funds from BRICS's development banks, such as the New Development Bank, NDB, which finances large-scale infrastructure projects in member countries. This financial lifeline could enable Cuba to invest in modernizing its energy infrastructure, healthcare system, and other essential sectors that have been neglected for years due to limited access to international capital. Cuba's geographical location also gives it strategic importance in global trade, especially for BRICS nations aiming to extend their influence in the Western Hemisphere. Located just 90 miles off the coast of Florida, Cuba is well positioned to serve as a key gateway for BRICS trade into North and South America. The port of Mariel, one of Cuba's most important infrastructure assets, is set to become a vital point in the BRICS supply chain, facilitating the efficient movement of goods between the Americas and BRICS countries. Already expanded to accommodate larger vessels, the port of Mariel is central to Cuba's logistics strategy and has the potential to evolve into a regional hub for international trade and innovation, particularly as Cuba looks to integrate with BRICS countries on issues like sustainable energy, medical research, and technology. Cuba's role within BRICS extends well beyond its strategic location. The island's leadership in medical research and biotechnology makes it a valuable partner for collaborative projects with BRICS nations. Cuba has pioneered affordable vaccines and medical treatments that have been used globally, and this expertise can now be shared through joint ventures with BRICS countries to scale Cuba's innovations and make them accessible to broader markets. The BRICS alliance's focus on sustainable development aligns perfectly with Cuba's priorities in renewable energy and sustainable agriculture. Cuba has long championed clean energy and organic farming practices, and through BRICS, it can access new resources and technologies to accelerate these efforts. The alliance's emphasis on environmental sustainability and climate change will offer Cuba an opportunity to lead green energy projects and contribute to global environmental efforts. Cuba's integration into BRICS is not only an economic shift but also a geopolitical one. The United States has long maintained hegemony in the Western Hemisphere, with the embargo being one of its primary tools to isolate Cuba. However, with the rise of BRICS and the increasing irrelevance of U.S.-led economic policies, Cuba's entry into the alliance challenges U.S. influence in the region. The support from nations like Russia and China, who have been strong advocates for Cuba's inclusion in BRICS, highlights the broader shift toward a multipolar world. As BRICS countries continue to develop alternative financial systems and trade networks, Cuba's alignment with these powers offers it the chance to break free from U.S. sanctions and establish itself as a significant global player. Cuba's inclusion in BRICS marks the beginning of a transformative journey for the nation. With the support of BRICS countries, Cuba now has the tools it needs to overcome decades of economic isolation, boost its trade and development opportunities, and solidify its position as a global player in the 21st century. Through this partnership, Cuba has the chance to modernize its infrastructure, enhance its technological and medical research capabilities, and elevate its global standing. As Cuba navigates this new chapter, key questions remain. Will BRICS be the catalyst Cuba needs to fully break free from U.S. sanctions? How will Cuba's integration accelerate the shift toward a multipolar world? What will be the long-term impacts of this transformation on international trade and geopolitical dynamics? The answers to these questions will shape not only Cuba's future, but also contribute to the broader realignment of global power. The rise of BRICS and Cuba's participation in the alliance will undoubtedly play a pivotal role in shaping the global economy and geopolitics in the coming decades.